Elon, I wanted to take the time to communicate just how much your love for the species has meant to me. Uh, we all go through periods of pain at different points, and I started learning about your story in one of the darkest moments of my life. And what was so painful being in that moment and looking around was the myopic self-absorption of the species. And in the midst of that, to watch your grit, your determination, your love and dedication towards success, not for money, not for fame, not for trying to look good, but because you understood that you could make a difference and you cared enough to do so, was literally, for quite a while, the most hopeful and beautiful thing to look forward to or to pay attention to in my life. I could look at the news media, I could look at what was going on in my own life, and then I could find out what you were doing with Tesla and why you were doing it. And it would make me happy. It would give me a sense of wanting to live. One of the most heartbreaking sides of this story was watching the myopic self-absorption of the media. I've never seen a business person with your level of dedication for our species' future and sustainability. And rather than honoring you for this and doing everything possible to support Tesla in this venture, I watched one media source after another, one quote news source after another, complaining, minimizing, sidetracking. You know, the recent joke, you announce a new car in a brand new factory that has exceeded all of the expectations of even the optimists, and your dance moves are the center story? I mean, it's just so sad to see that level of pettiness, to see that what we consume as media and news is the belittling of the species, because what you're doing is great. What you're doing means a lot. What you're doing is more intelligent than any capitalist I know. And it's painful to me that that has not been honored. It's painful that it is not celebrated. And the reason this is painful is not just that I feel a tremendous protectiveness for the heart, for the care, for the dedication that is willing to show up with the level of passion, dedication, and integrity that you do every single day, but because I understand the statistical implications of a cult that turns on its most brilliant and generous thinkers and enablers with pessimism, with passivity, with humiliation, and with misinformation. This is a level of cultural suicide that I understand means there will be very few of you. Each one of us has the potential to find a vision, a unique perspective, and to love enough to bring that into the world over the next 10 or 15 years. And very, very few of us are going to do it. And for me, going through the pain at the time that I was in my life, it was a pain around not believing I could be the person I wanted to be, make the difference I wanted to make. And it was also the pain of having experienced some of what I see and saw you going through, of caring and loving more, only to be shamed, minimized, discounted, humiliated in response. Knowing that it's painful enough to stretch for something important, that it's magnificent enough to reach to want to make a difference beyond the self-centered human needs we each have. But to know that if I make it up into anywhere close to your level of impact, that there is a sociopathic culture around that is waiting to mock and pick apart in such a petty way and ignore the most important trait in any human being: caring and loving enough to become competent in a domain that brings well-being to our fellow human beings. And to become competent specifically to express that care. This is the single most important human trait to nurture. And it has not been nurtured, which is why you have become my hero. I'm not big on heroes, and in hundreds of biographies, I've never had a real hero. I've pieced together this from, I like Ray Dalio's app. I like some of Stephen Covey's work. I learned and appreciate salesmanship from Brian Tracy. I appreciated the constructive pessimism of Bill Gates. I appreciated the nuance and vision in Apple and the stubbornness of Larry and Sergey. But I've never had a hero because I've never seen someone care enough about others to become exceptionally competent at bringing in a technology that ushers in a dramatically higher odds, a higher probability field of well-being. And it was very, very important to me, it is very important to me that you succeed, because I don't have the stamina that you have. I don't have the courage, the ability to tune out that level of criticism that you have. I understand that your pain tolerance is 100 times greater than mine. And so if you didn't make it, there would be little hope for me to push through the fear, to push through the loneliness, the anger at what our cult has waiting for those who love enough to dream big and love even deeper to become competent enough to bring their dreams to reality with such panache, individuality, and excellence. I understand that I don't have the tolerance for that level of pain. And so it was very important to me that you succeed. And so I've done what I can. I've bought as much stock as I can afford. You and ARK Invest are my only stocks. I don't care if they ever make a penny. What I care about is communicating through that investment that I recognize your love. I recognize your commitment to our species, your dedication. I recognize your integrity, and I would rather have my money in your hands than in the hands of any individual I know. And the greatest thing, if you and Tesla succeed in the way that I hope you will be that I know for our world to love itself, we need more Elon Musks. And you are a trailblazer in humanitarian focus, in vision, in first principles thinking, in sacrifice, in loving yourself and all of us enough to become competent enough to beat the odds and bring all of us into the future, bring all of us a tremendous gift. I'm unspeakably grateful. And if you were a more approachable man, I would love to express my affection. I want you to know that I see the part in you that cares, and that cares so much never to give up. And I want you to know that your love has been received and that it matters. It matters to millions of human beings. Not because the technology is superior, but because you are doing this out of love. Loving enough to be beautiful, to be excellent, to be a magnificent version of a human being and a man. At a time when there's so much male bashing, you make me proud to aspire to competence and excellence. My biggest concern watching the degree of sociopathic avoidance of this most central thing is that it hurts a human being enormously to be attacked for expressing the most beautiful things about them, the most beautiful things about us. It hurts us as human beings a lot. And it heals that wound to know that that love is received, honored. And so I am grateful for the love you have shown me with 100-hour weeks, with vision, with moving forward, with your 100% investment of your fortune in your own companies, with your choice, with the questions you asked yourself that include all of us. I'm touched by how big you are. You make me proud to be a man because I see that same spark and drive in me. And you give courage to grow that in a small way. And I am absolutely certain you are doing that for many men and children around the country and around the globe. And I want you to know your impact. It is enormous, and it's not in the cars. It's in your heart. It's in who you are and how you've organized your life. It touches me deeper than any spiritual meditation or anything. It touches me to see your love in action.